Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Legislative Matters Now. I'm Morgan Spicer, Self-Advocate Coordinator with People First of West Virginia. The purpose of our program is to educate all self-advocates, including myself, on the ever-important topic of legislative advocacy. Now, we do this by having a guest each month talk about various pieces of legislation. We also, on many programs, depending on the topic and time allowed, do a segment called Advocate in Action, where we talk to a self-advocate who is using their self-advocacy skills in a positive light to not only influence their lives, but the lives of others around them. Now, this month, it's my pleasure to introduce Bob Fehrenbacher, a West Virginia state delegate who has been serving his community with distinction. Bob is a dedicated public servant who has been actively involved in local politics for many years. He has a deep understanding of the issues that matter most to the people of his district, and he has worked tirelessly to ensure that their voices are heard in the state legislature. Bob's commitment to public service is truly inspiring, and I'm honored to have him as a guest on our show today. Let's get to his interview now. Let's get things started here. Can you tell us about your role as a delegate in West Virginia's legislature?
Well, I'm a first-term delegate, and I am the District 11 delegate, and so I work in, my constituents are primarily in northern Parkersburg and in Vienna. And so I was elected 2 years ago, and I'm going to run for re-election and serve the people of the district, the Mid-Ohio Valley, and West Virginia.
Perfect. So what inspired you to become involved in legislative work, and how did you get first started in the field?
Well, I actually believe, if you will, going all the way back to my Cub Scout days, do a good turn daily. And so I've always tried to volunteer and help not only what I do at my work and at home, but in the community. So that meant that I was active wherever I've been. And when DuPont transferred me to the Washington work site, I became active. And frankly, I think my activity, besides being, at the site, I was recognized and available, and frankly, somebody approached me and asked if I had ever considered working or running for the legislature, and I decided to do that.
Oh, wow. So what are some of the key issues that you're working on currently, and what do you hope to achieve through your legislative efforts?
Well, kind of the good news, bad news is that there are a number of opportunities for us in West Virginia. One of the things that I think is most important is to work on economic development and job creation. The population in the state has been decreasing for decades, and we've got to turn that around. We've got to give people a reason to not only stay, but frankly move back to West Virginia. So job creation is one, but then frankly we need to help the current citizens by improving the health, by improving education, by making things better, and so that the people in West Virginia are better able to live, work, and raise a family in our state.
And that would particularly be beneficial as well for the self-advocates that the ARC and People First serve.
Absolutely.
It would enrich their lives as well. So for those that aren't really familiar with the legislative process, how does the legislative process work in West Virginia, and what are some of the challenges that you face?
Well, the Constitution of the state of West Virginia goes back to 1863 when West Virginia was created. And so there are rules, if you will, that talk about that. And so a bill is introduced to either the House of Delegates or the Senate. It's read 1, 2, 3 times, then it's potentially passed or rejected, and then it goes to the other chamber. If it started in the House, it goes to the Senate. If it started in the Senate, it goes to the House. And if it passes both chambers, then it goes to the governor. So in a legislative session, it's common in recent years that there are 2,000 bills that get introduced. However, only a small fraction. This past year, 280 bills went through both houses of the legislature and then went to the governor. Mm-hmm. And the governor signed, I think, 271. Mm-hmm. vetoed 7, and then 2 became law without his signature. So it's got to go through all of those steps. So an idea comes, it's one of those 2,000 ideas. Some of them are duplicative, but that's kind of the process, and we try to get it all done in about 60 days.
Wow. And that's sounds like that's quite a lot of work to do in that.
Yeah. It absolutely is.
So how do you work with other legislators, both within your own party and across the aisle, to pass meaningful legislation?
Well, the way things are structured, I'm on several committees, and it's common for a delegate to be on anywhere from 3 to 5 committees. And so when a bill comes up, it typically is assigned to a committee where that committee takes a look at it because it's a topic that they focus on. So within those committees, in the House, there are 25 members in that committee. So sometimes a bill comes up, and if it's of interest to you or you were the originator of it as the lead sponsor, other people will say, that's a good idea. Do you have an opportunity for me to co-sponsor that? And so then they sign up to co-sponsor it, and you typically will bring in some experts to your committee meeting to hear about the bill and, frankly, formally testify about the bill. And then once it gets out of committee, it may go to a second committee, but eventually it'll come to the House floor, and it'll be read that first, second, and third time. And that's when there is typically the opportunity to collaborate, because not everybody is on every committee. And so if there are questions, one of my peers, or I might go to a peer member, a peer delegate, and say, tell me about this bill. Or I'll read the bill and understand what it is so I can ask questions. And frankly, if I think it could be adjusted, then I can formulate an amendment.
Okay. So what exactly, how does that happen? Like the amendment, with forming an amendment?
You actually, will develop something. You may go to somebody that is an attorney that will help craft your amendment so that it is technically worded correctly. But then you introduce that either in the committee meeting where you can amend a proposed bill, or you can amend it when it gets to the House floor when it's typically on second reading. And then there is a discussion about the amendment, and the amendment itself is voted on. Does the committee, or if it gets to the House floor, does the full House of Delegates support the amendment, and it's voted up or down?
So can you describe a particularly successful piece of legislation that you've been involved in crafting or passing?
Well, one of the bills that just got passed this year was one that eliminated over a 3-year period the taxes on Social Security benefits. So West Virginia has been one of 10 or 11 states that taxed Social Security benefits if your family or household, individual or household income was above a certain level. And we decided that collectively with the governor and with both chambers in the legislature to eliminate that. And we took that bill up, and it was passed this year, House Bill 4480, I believe, and it was just signed into law by the governor. And frankly, that will give those people that are getting those benefits, they'll see a financial benefit by paying less taxes, which will help their standard of living.
Perfect. Yeah, that was a great bill that passed there. That definitely helps. So what are some of the challenges, the biggest challenges facing West Virginia today, and how do you believe that legislative action can help to address those issues?
Well, let me start by saying West Virginia has made significant progress. However, the work is not done. We have some challenges ahead of us. We still need to improve the economy. We need to create more jobs. We have some other challenges in the way of health and education. So we can't just say, well, I'm going to work on this alone. we've got to work on multiple topics. And so, yes, we'll deal with health. We'll deal with education. We'll deal with substance use disorder. We'll deal, frankly, with the IDD waiver program. We'll deal with creating a set of conditions that make this state more attractive so that employers will come to West Virginia, or our existing employers will expand. They'll not only be successful, that they'll keep their employees, but they will also hopefully grow and create even more jobs.
That would be great.
That's wonderful, yes.
More jobs would be much better.
Yes.
So how do you stay informed and engage with your constituents? What steps do you take to ensure that their voices are heard in the legislative process? For example, like with the Title 19 waiver. You know, I believe that you attended one of our People First meetings.
Yes.
About a month or a couple weeks ago, and you got to hear from some of the advocates that are going to be directly impacted on how severe this would impact them.
Right. So first and foremost, I believe that being connected is very important. I represent the people, particularly in my district, but broader, the Mid-Ohio Valley, and the state of West Virginia. So, you know, here's my cell phone. I carry it with me at all times, 304-481-4927. I will answer the call. I'll, get input from various and sundry people. My email is generally available. I monitor that. And I frankly stay active in the community, like the People First meeting that you referenced. If people invite me to meetings and I can accommodate that because of my schedule, I'll go, I'll listen, and I frankly will try to become informed if there is a topic of a bill and I lack background or understanding. I try to understand it so that when I vote, I am voting with knowledge as to what the need is and what the impact is, and so that I cast a vote that will be beneficial to the state.
Yes, and it's good that we have that, because that's one of the things that we teach when our advocates meet legislators, is to put a face to the names, to kind of just get to know them a little bit, tell them what you're passionate about. That way, when they go back, maybe next year when we have our Disability Advocacy Day, that they can say, oh, hi, and tell you what's going on and talk to you about some of the things they want to improve.
Yes, absolutely. I know I was honored that when, the People First group came to the Capitol in this last session, to meet with them and frankly listen to their inputs and frankly their concerns about the financial support of the programs that they're dependent upon.
Yes. I thought the vision boards was a great idea.
Yes, absolutely.
It puts more, because some people it's a little bit more difficult for them to explain things. So I feel like that vision board definitely serves as a second voice there.
Sure, yes.
So what advice do you have for individuals who are interested in becoming more involved in the political process and in advocating for legislative change in their own communities?
Well, if you will, it takes a collective, it takes a community. Organizations like People First, like the ARC, provide the opportunity for somebody to become involved, okay? So that's a great start. It's got a local impact, but then frankly, there are opportunities to reach out, to expand the impact, to be an advocate and ask for, or if you will, lobby for change. To make legislators such as myself aware of the situation, what's working, and don't mess with something that's working, if you will, but also what are some things that would make things even better. It's, I believe in what's working well, let's keep doing the good stuff, but then what could be done better and how do we make it better? The unfortunate reality is sometimes we don't have the bandwidth or the money to make everything better all at the same time, but we ought to be aware of things so that we can prioritize and make change, positive change, where possible.
All right, yes. And that's why I love being a part of People First, because we're encouraging our advocates to get involved, make your voice heard, get involved in the legislative process, learn about it. And that way you're better equipped to go out there and talk to your legislators.
Absolutely. I think when those opportunities are created, frankly, down at the Capitol, you'll find a lot of legislators dependent on their schedule to go out, to go to the various tables, the displays, and interact, particularly when it's from their home district. They'll go out and meet the people that came from, if you will, Parkersburg or Vienna or Wood County for us in the Wood County delegation.
Okay. Nice. And yeah, I loved meeting you. That was my first time meeting you that day. And so it was just great watching everybody just interact with you. I loved the interaction. So that was perfect for our advocates. So now they've got a face of the name, so they know they can come to you anytime for any questions or comments, something like that. Yeah.
Well, that's it. And so every time we have a conversation, it kind of builds on both parties that, we're talking to people, if you will, friends and collaborators, and we're building our knowledge and our understanding and providing feedback that will help us both be more effective going forward.
Yes. So what are your goals for the future, both in terms of your legislative work and your broader vision for West Virginia?
Let me start with the big picture first, and that's what does West Virginia need? And I'll say that, again, to reiterate something I said earlier, we've made good progress, but we have more progress to make. And so we've got multiple areas. I do think economic development is necessary. I do believe that improving the health and well-being of our people, our citizens, is very important. To improve education, to work on substance use disorder, and frankly, take this state and build on our strengths, but also be open enough to try something different. Mm-hmm. If we keep doing the same things, we're likely to get the same result. Yeah. So let's make some change mm-hmm. to improve, because frankly, there are too many metrics where the state is not number one, it's number 45 or 50 or somewhere down there. And so we've got to, work together and raise, our results and make West Virginia, an even better place to live, work, and raise a family.
Yes, I agree with that totally. That's
great.
Perfect. So I know you mentioned this earlier. Any of our advocates that want to get a hold of you, as you said, you are available anytime, your phone number, email address.
Yes.
What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Either that phone call, a text message, or an email.
Okay.
I try to stay current on those things. I try to be responsive. And so any of those work. So again, 304-481-4927 or bob.fehrenbacher at wvhouse, all one word, wvhouse.gov.
Perfect. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just want to thank you, Morgan, for all the things that you and this organization do in advocating for individuals, both individually and collectively. Thank you for the things you do to make West Virginia a better place.
Thank you so much for that, and thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Delegate Fehrenbacher, for joining us today. Don't forget, if you have an important piece of legislation you want to be discussed on a future episode, or want to be an advocate in action, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can call the ARC at 304-422-3151, extension 129, or you can email me directly. My email is morgan.spicer@thearcmov.org. I would love to have you on a guest on a future episode. Coming up is our Advocate in Action segment. This month, Alexis Ullmann had the chance to speak to Whitney Teal, Melissa Smitley, and Teresa Smith from FCIC about the importance of Sexual Assault Awareness Month and Denim Day. They advocate for people with disabilities, so they work as advocates in action as part of their job, including offering the Elevatus program that teaches people with disabilities how to have healthy relationships.
Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Teresa Smith. I'm Sexual Assault Response Advocate for the Family Crisis Intervention Center, FCIC in Wood County. I am also the Sexual Assault Response Team Corps Coordinator for Wood County. I'm also a certified domestic violence advocate.
What is the Sexual Assault Response Team?
The Sexual Assault Response Team is a group of professionals who work together to create a victim-centered response to sexual assaults. Each county has a sexual assault response team. Prosecutors are lead of the SARTs throughout West Virginia, but it's the Rape Crisis Centers who coordinates these teams and meetings. SARTs team members are prosecutors' office, rape crisis centers, hospitals, all law enforcement agencies within a county, and other agencies that would be a help to a sexual assault victim.
What is FCIC?
FCIC is a licensed domestic violence and rape crisis center, and we serve Calhoun, Jackson, Pleasant, Ritchie, Roane, Tyler, Wirt, and Wood counties in West Virginia, with our 1 to 30 day emergency shelter being located here in Parkersburg, West Virginia.
Why is it important to talk about Sexual Assault Awareness Month?
It's not only important to talk about sexual assault during Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but to talk about it throughout the year. The more we talk about it, the more the word gets out about prevention and awareness. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will be a victim of some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. I am a firm believer that education and learning about sexual assault and ways to prevent it is key to ending sexual violence.
I know last year there was a theme for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Is there a different theme this year?
Last year, our theme was ending victim blaming. This is something we will continue to campaign on. It is never the victim's fault, and we need to be letting victims know we support them, we believe them, and we are here for them.
Is that a national theme, or is it specific to our local area?
This year's national theme is Building Connected Communities. Wood County decided to go off that with Community is Powerful in Ending Sexual Violence. Our Wood County community has been continuing to work on issues surrounding sexual violence, and we want our community to know there are safe spaces and people to come to if they need help.
Is there an online campaign, and how can people participate?
The online campaign is for people to hold up a sign that says Community is Powerful in Ending Sexual Violence with either their name or agency's name on the sign, post it to social media like Facebook with the hashtags Wood County SART, FCIC, FCIC See My Face, It's On Us West Virginia, and SAM. The campaign is mostly run through the Wood County SART Facebook page.
Are there any events in April for Sexual Assault Awareness Month?
Yeah, our main event is the Denim Day event on the 24th of April, starting at 11:30 a.m. at the Bicentennial Park in Government Square, downtown Parkersburg.
What is Denim Day?
In 1992, in Italy, a young woman was raped by her driving instructor. Despite the heinous nature of the crime, the Italian Supreme Court overturned the conviction, arguing that because the victim wore tight jeans, she must have aided in removing them, therefore implying consent. This shocking verdict sparked outrage and led to a global movement against victim blaming and sexual violence. In solidarity with the survivor and to protest such unjust perceptions, women in the Italian parliament wore jeans to work. This act of solidarity soon spread across the world, and Denim Day was born. Today, Denim Day stands as a symbol of protest against erroneous and harmful attitudes surrounding sexual assault, emphasizing that no matter what someone wears, consent is never implied. By wearing denim today, we affirm our commitment to promoting a culture of consent, respect, and support for survivors. We stand united in our belief that no individual should ever be blamed or shamed for the violence inflicted upon them. Together, we strive to create communities where survivors are believed, supported, and empowered to seek justice and healing. This event serves not only as a touching reminder of the work that still lies ahead in combating sexual violence, but also as a celebration of our collective strength and resilience. It's a testament to the power of solidarity and the impact we can make when we come together for a common cause. Wherever you are On Denim Day, take a moment and honor the courage of survivors, amplify their voices, and reaffirm our commitment to creating a world free from sexual violence. Let our Denim Day clad solidarity serve as a ray of hope and change, inspiring others to join us in this vital mission.
If somebody is in an abusive situation, who do they call?
If someone is in immediate danger, they should call 911. But there are agencies throughout West Virginia they can contact. Their local domestic violence or rape crisis center. Here in Wood County, the counties I mentioned earlier, the number would be 1-800-794-2335. The national hotline for domestic violence is 1-800-799-7233. The National Sexual Assault Hotline is 1-800-656-4673. The national hotlines will connect you with your local programs.
Where can people get education on healthy relationships?
My name is Melissa Smetley, and I am with the Family Crisis Intervention Center, the Healthy Sexuality Education Project, Elevatus, the West Virginia Center for Excellence in Disability, and the West Virginia Foundation for Rape and Information Services, West Virginia FRIDS, have launched the Healthy Sexuality Education Project, Elevatus. The goal of this statewide initiative is to provide comprehensive, healthy sexuality education to adults with developmental disabilities. The Elevatus curriculum is an evidence and trauma-informed program that is guided by theories and practices that have a history of demonstrating positive results, including sexual script theory, self-determination theory, social learning theory, and social impact theory. The curriculum fully incorporates disability rights, independent living, and self-advocacy with the emphasis on individuals being a sexual self-advocate and inclusive of all gender and sexual identities. It was designed to set the standard for sexual education for adults with developmental disabilities, provide opportunities for participants to practice skills that promote self-advocacy, communication, healthy relationships, and sexual healthy and abuse prevention.
What makes this class unique as opposed to other educational opportunities out there?
What else makes it unique is that it was created by not only professionals in the field, but also by individuals with developmental disabilities. The Healthy Sexuality Education Project, coordinated by Courtney Lanham, training specialist at WVU's Center for Education Disabilities, was utilized trainers from across West Virginia to bring this important information to agencies in your community. Trainers attended an intensive 3-day training of trainers on how to utilize the curriculum effectively. As the initiative grows in our state, additional training of trainers opportunities will be offered. I would appreciate the opportunity to tell you more about this initiative and how I am able to provide this training to your agency. There is no cost for this training. The initiative is being provided with financial assistance from a grant, the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources. For questions or information, please feel free to contact Melissa Smetley at 304-684-5612 or 304-428-2333.
For more information, you can visit www.fcichaven.org. They provide more information on the services they provide, as well as a toll-free number you can call anytime if you ever need to reach out 24 hours a day. I'm going to show you what that page is now. This is the Family Crisis Intervention Center page. Gives you some information, and there's that phone number up there, as well as what they're about, some informations and ways you can get involved. With that, we're out of time for this month's episode. Thanks so much, Delegate Fehrenbacher and the staff of FCIC for taking the time to speak with us this month. And thank you for joining us. Remember, advocacy matters, and so do you. See you next time.